Guys, good Thursday afternoon. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us on a glorious Thursday. We're live in Charlottesville, across Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world, on the I Love CVille Network, a place we very much enjoy connecting with you through the positive exchanges of stories in this community. Our tagline and our mission is to showcase the best of Charlottesville, Virginia, and beyond. And I think we do that with our live programming 23 hours a week here on the I Love CVille Network. Today we're going to highlight the journey, the quest, the trials and tribulations of the fabulous Sarah Robinson. She is currently Miss Greater Charlottesville, and she is on a vertical path of success as she's pursuing Miss Virginia. And we'll introduce you to her in a matter of moments here on the program. We thank Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine for being a partner of today's show, and our friends at Skooma Boutique Dispensary, where they have 2 locations on Elliewood and on the downtown mall here in Charlottesville. And of course, we're powered by Ting Fiber Internet on the I Love CVille Network. Judah Wickhauer's our director. If we could, Judah, go to this 2-shot and welcome Sarah Robinson to the show. You're live. This is no problem for you. One of my favorite things of having experienced and talented broadcasters like you on the show is I can sit back and relax even more. If you could introduce yourself to everybody that's watching the show.
Yeah, so I'm Sarah Robinson. I'm currently Miss Greater Charlottesville, and I'm also a reporter for CBS 19 News in Charlottesville as well. So definitely Charlottesville strong and active in the community, and I'll be competing for Miss Virginia in June. And what I really want to, focus on is my social impact initiative today, which is called The Good News. So you may be wondering, what is that?
Yeah,
what is that? I'm a journalist, and I just am surrounded by bad news all the time, as I'm sure everybody is. I mean, we all are. And it's been hard, both as a journalist, but more so as a human being, just witnessing, I'm often there on the worst day of someone's life, day after day. And I started talking to just people in our community and my friends and neighbors and my parents, and it felt like everybody was feeling just the doom and the gloom over and over. And I think one of my favorite quotes is to live a life without hope is to cease to live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, and don't ask me who said that because I don't know.
It's Steve?
It's Steve.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to focus on with my platform was instilling that hope back into the people in our community and really letting them know that they have the agency and the power to be a good person and to create good news in their community, even if it's just for one day or for one moment. So that's what my platform and my social impact initiative focuses on.
The timing is so perfect for this platform. We're coming out of the pandemic.
Exactly.
And, let's face it, the last 2 years, especially for people like you and I, that like being around other people,
right?
We feed off that energy. It's been tough.
Been really tough.
So put in perspective for us, the viewers and listeners of this platform, and how you feel the timing is so perfect coming out of the pandemic.
Right. So, we obviously had the pandemic, but we've had tornadoes recently. We've had the war in Ukraine, shootings. I mean, it's just day after day. It feels like really hopeless and powerless, and that's a really horrible place to be in, to live that day after day. And I want to bring people out of that, and part of that is just knowing that I have the power to be a good person through one small act of kindness. So I visit with school children, I talk to them about that, and we brainstorm kind of 3 ways that they can be a better person or to help someone. So the first thing is something they can do today that's really easy. The second is something they can do this week. And then the third is kind of a bigger project, something that they could come together as a group and work towards throughout the month. And they've come up with some really, really amazing ideas. I had a group of kids say that they were going to start learning how to crochet so that they could make blankets and donating them to people who experience homelessness. I've had a girl say that she was going to make a lemonade stand and donate the proceeds to the UVA Children's Hospital. Just amazing things that these kids, I really want them to know that, you have the power even as a 4, 5, 6-year-old to do good in your community and to believe that you have the power to create good news.
How do you get in this in the first place? Obviously you're super talented. You could do so much. How did you pursue Miss Greater Charlottesville, Miss Virginia? What's the inspiration?
The inspiration, oh gosh, so funny story, it goes back to when I was 5 years old. I was supposed to be my cousin's wedding as the flower girl, had the flower dress picked out. I was practicing, I would sleep in the thing, I would wear it all the time. Around 2 weeks before the wedding, she called it off. So my mom had to break the news to me, like, oh, honey, you're not going to be able to be a flower girl anymore. And it was just like constant, like, no. And so my mom, I mean, naturally, she was like, well, we paid a lot of money for this dress, so we're going to go take it back. And David's bridal was like, you can't return a formal gown, you know, because then everybody would wear it once and take it back. So my mom's like, well, what do I do with this? And the one behind the counter just mentioned like pageantry. And of course, my mom immediately was like, no. She didn't know anything about it.
Sure.
So the world to her was just, I mean, she had all of these preconceived notions and prejudices towards it. Yeah. And then I got started in an organization called National American Miss. Mm-hmm. And I like prepared the whole summer with my parents, and it was just something fun to do so that I could wear the dress and do the thing. And it was a no makeup competition, so it was completely natural, which my parents and I loved. And it was basically you just introduce yourself, you have a private interview, and then formal wear, and that was it. And I ended up winning on my first try, which was amazing. I mean, 5-year-old me, but the funny part is I made everybody call me a princess after that. When they would be like, Sarah, I'm like, it's Princess Sarah, sorry. And then that's how I got my start. And then the goal from then and there was always Miss America, because that to me was like the pinnacle of what you could do. And I mean, I owe the Miss America organization so much. One of my MAO sisters, Avery Bishop, who competes in Texas, kind of describes it as like everyone becomes your fairy godmother, because it's based on volunteers. I mean, people who, you know, pour their lives into this organization so that we can get scholarship money and that we can grow our skills and develop into strong, powerful women. Yeah. And, you know, this year, there's so many people who have done so much to get me to where I am now and to practice my interview with me and my talent and public speaking. I mean, it really has given me so much. And fun fact, every job that I've ever had, I got through someone that I knew within the organization through networking. Yes.
Including this job?
Including my job as a reporter, because Tara Wheeler, Miss Virginia 2008, I believe, used to be an anchor at CBS 19. And so when I was applying to jobs, I reached out to her, and I wasn't even a journalism major. She just knew that I had competed and vouched for me because she knew that I must be driven and hardworking if I competed, which is amazing, and it's paid off. I mean, and I had the opportunity for the first time this year to kind of be someone else's fairy godmother in the organization, because a girl who competed in Maryland was reaching out and trying to find a journalism job, and I reached out to her, and now she's going to be working at CBS 19.
That's amazing.
So it's a family that keeps on growing. It really is.
So when you heard Charlottesville for the first time from Tara, and Tara's captivated TV sets and viewers and listeners for a long time here in Central Virginia. I believe she went to Roanoke after Charlottesville. This is the question I have for you, though. When you heard Charlottesville for the first time, what was it that immediately came to mind for you? I asked all our guests that.
Yeah.
Was it positive?
No.
Right?
No, it wasn't positive, because I went to JMU. So I was a student when, the Unite the Right riot happened here. And that's what you think of. I think that's what the whole nation thinks of. I mean, we still make national news. We're in the headlines all the time because people constantly go back to what happened in 2017. And I was nervous about coming here because I didn't know what the community would be like. I didn't know what the aftermath of that would look like, or what reporting on it would look like, if I'd be able to.
That's what I want to pursue.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Well, I mean, it's so difficult, because what happened was like the most tragic thing, one of the most tragic events in recent history. I mean, the riot, I can't even fathom it. I've seen all the footage of it.
I was there.
Yeah.
Like literally right there.
Mm-hmm. And just the amount of hatred, I mean, I can't even fathom that amount of hatred, and having to write about that and cover that, time after time. I didn't know if I would be able to do it. And, through support and guidance and mentorship through the station, I kind of learned, like, how do we navigate these stories? How do we tell them in a way that is honest and truthful and really highlights everything that happened in the way that it happened? And so I've been really fortunate to connect with Susan Bro, who is the mother of Heather Heyer, and, to really hear her story, which is utterly heartbreaking. And to cover the Jabara Heyer Anti-Hate Act, which President Biden signed into law last year. That was a huge, moment for me as a journalist, because I'd been working with Susan. I had been connecting with her on that, and that was a huge step for her. And then it became a huge step for me, because it was the first time I had, seen someone bring their fruits of labor to fruition and actually make a law that was going to not only help people in our community but across the country. It was really impactful.
Great answer. And I want to go down this road with this conversation with you. I remember my first job out of UVA was as a reporter at the Daily Progress. Mm-hmm. And one of the hardest assignments, even to this day for me, was covering the death of a young man, a student at Albemarle High School. Mm-hmm. His name, Nolan Jenkins. His mom was Anita Jenkins. She was a teacher and a coach at Albemarle High School. And I'll tell you, Sarah, the hardest thing as a young reporter was picking up the phone, scheduling an in-person interview with Nolan's mom, mm-hmm. and literally talking with her about the passing of her son that happened the night or day before, mm-hmm. for a story that was going to be commemorative of mm-hmm. him, mm-hmm. on the front page of the newspaper. And I want to put in perspective and throw it back to you. So much of broadcast, TV, radio, print, it comes with this like notoriety, mm-hmm. and a little bit of acclaim, but it's navigating these complicated stories that are deep and rich with vulnerability, mm-hmm. or sorrow or sadness, that are really, really, really difficult to do. Mm-hmm. Not only in the interview, but managing the weight and magnitude of stories like this over and over again.
Yes.
Let's go down that road for the viewers and listeners and try to put that in perspective. It's not an easy task.
It's not easy at all. In fact, when I first started, I remember people in the industry kind of telling me like, oh, you'll get numb. Like, you'll just get numb after a while. And I knew that they meant that with good intention. Uh-huh. But I almost think that being numb is worse than being sad. I mean, I want to have that empathy for people. I want to be able to connect and tell these stories through that emotional lens, because that is their story. That's how we connect with people, is through that emotion. And I remember getting home from work and like taking off my shoes and just kind of like plopping on the couch, because the weight of the stories, they don't just, shake off as soon as you walk through the door in your apartment when you get home. I mean, there are stories that you lie awake at night thinking about and thinking like, what if that happened to my loved one? Or what if that happened to me?
Sure.
And, that's kind of what led me to the good news in my platform is, taking, obviously we have to tell these horrible stories, but there also has to be a space for that positivity, because the world can't all be doom and gloom. We have to be hopeful, we have to be courageous, and we have to kind of stand strong in the face of evil and come together and do great things, because we have to. I mean, what else is there to do? We can't just, sit in the sadness for too long.
Sure. We
have to do something. And
you got to champion the good.
We have to champion the good, because without it, I mean, what are we?
So let's talk about the next steps. First, let's talk about you being, and this is crazy to say, it's very apropos, a role model. I mean, you have girls, you have young ladies, you have women looking up to you. Mm-hmm. Have you embraced the moniker? Is it a moniker that comes with pressure and expectations? Mm-hmm. How do you look at being a role model for the next generation?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only pressure that comes with it is pressure that I put on myself, which I think is a good thing. At the end of the day, I mean, I want to grow, I want to get better. But being a role model, it's a great responsibility. And I knew that taking that job as a reporter, but before that, being a title holder within the Miss America organization, I mean, there's these expectations and, rules that we have to follow of being a good person and being a volunteer and being servant-hearted. And so I've kind of grown up with that in the back of my mind and present always, and just wanting to be a good person, and also instilling the belief in girls, like, it's okay to root for yourself. I think the Miss America organization teaches us how to root for ourselves. I grew up as a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader from like 7th grade until I graduated high school, so I was always like cheering for other people.
Yeah, you're so positive.
So positive, like, yeah, you can do it. And then through competing, I actually learned how to cheer for myself, and that it's okay to root for yourself, and you can champion yourself and know what you bring to the table and what your value is. And I want young women to kind of tap into that more, and I think it's really exciting that I have the opportunity to do that.
So next steps?
Next steps, Miss Virginia, in June. Okay. The final night is June 25th, so I'm hoping. It's really fun. Have you ever been?
No.
Well, it's live streamed.
Oh, really?
Or
okay.
you could go in Roanoke if you want to support.
Okay.
You know a few of the women competing.
So who else? Tell us.
Dominga Murray.
You're right. She's been on the show.
29, yes. Yeah. You know Tatum. She's giving up her title as well.
Okay.
So you know a few of us. So it's really cool to see it all come together, and we really do root for each other. I mean, when one of us wins, we all win. I think that's kind of the mentality of it all.
So let's do this. What's the recipe for a Sarah Robinson victory?
Victory. Honestly, like for me, it comes down to the mentality of it, because I have all of the like preparation set. I have my wardrobe, I have my talent, my interview I've practiced, and now it's just getting to the point where I feel at peace with everything, that I've done everything I can do, and at the end of the day, I mean, it's out of my hands. It's in the hands of the judges. I can't control, you know, what exactly they're looking for or what they want in a title holder. I can only be the best me. So for me right now, I'm just focusing on kind of getting my mental state correct and feeling that peace and that gratitude, because so many people have helped me. I mean, from when I was 5 years old, like this has been my life. Yeah. And it's been one heck of a ride too. So I want to feel that gratitude and just be thankful and at peace for every opportunity I have. So
does Sarah Robinson feel nervousness?
Yes. And
really?
It's funny because people, you know, just assume that I don't because of my job.
Yeah.
I get nervous in the field. I think it's when I don't feel those nerves, that's when things can kind of go awry. You know, you kind of want that adrenaline kind of pushing you, and, you know, diamonds are made under pressure, as they say. So you kind of have to feel that pressure and feel that nervousness to, I think, for me at least, to excel.
So what's the plan for the broadcasting career? What's the plan? I mean, anchor?
Yeah.
Climb the ladder? I mean, so here's the tough part. So, and this is from personal experience. We both love Charlottesville.
I love Charlottesville.
We love this market. We love the viewers and listeners. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm confident in saying that you love to tell the stories of the community.
And I love this community.
Yeah.
And I also love Virginia. I think I would be comfortable in Richmond as well. I mean, I went to JMU, so I'm like a Central Virginia girl at heart. I've been here for 6 years now. That's like my whole adult life at this point.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So I love Virginia, but I love politics.
Okay.
So I think that's what I think is going to ultimately guide me. I covered the Virginia gubernatorial election last November. I made a national debut on CBSN, which was super cool.
Yeah.
And it was
nervous then?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was kind of in that moment where I was like, I think politics is what I want to pursue. I grew up right outside DC too, and I had a congressional internship in high school. So I think ultimately, I want to end up reporting in DC and kind of doing the politics thing.
Nice.
My goal is to do it for a major network. We'll see if that happens. It's maybe in like the 10-year plan. But I love politics. I love breaking those stories. And sometimes it feels like the whole world is watching. It's not even just our country. I mean, people all across the world want to know what's happening in American politics.
I love it. So, man, you got a lot on your plate right now. What are you doing for a relaxation standpoint? What are you doing to unwind? If you're not working and you're in Charlottesville or Central Virginia, what are you doing for fun?
For fun, hanging out with friends, which is hard because of the reporter schedule, which I'm sure
the hours
you're used to. My hours aren't too bad right now.
What's your schedule?
My schedule, I am nightside Monday to Wednesday, so 3 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then, not bad at all. And then Thursdays and Fridays are my off days. And then I'm weekend anchor Saturday and Sundays, and that's 3 to 11 as well.
Okay, so that's not bad.
Not bad at all.
So you're relaxing with friends. What else are you doing?
With friends, hanging out by the pool.
Okay.
I have an apartment complex with a pool, which I've never had before, so taking advantage of that. And then family. My family is still in Maryland, so we're pretty close. My parents are my best friends, honestly, so I hang out with them a lot and going out to dinner. Charlottesville has the best food. Can we talk about that?
Please. I'm hoping we will.
Yeah,
I'm a foodie.
I'm a foodie as well. And did you know Charlottesville has like the second per capita for restaurants, right behind New York City.
So that number fluctuates.
Okay.
She's talking about restaurants per capita in the city of Charlottesville. I've heard anywhere from top 10 and as low as 14 in the country. But either way, we're so spoiled by this.
I know, we truly are. And as a reporter, I've gotten to kind of connect with some of the small business and restaurant owners, which is so cool to like hear the behind the scenes of how they come up with the meals, the themes for the restaurant, how it all comes to fruition.
So where is the top 5 for Sarah Robinson restaurant-wise in the area? And it doesn't just have to be Charlottesville. It could be anywhere. And maybe you categorize it by
okay.
like, this is a spot for dinner with friends.
Yeah.
This is a spot for, yada, yada, yada.
Okay, so Tavola.
Okay.
Because I love Italian
I love
food.
Tavola. Okay.
The Local is really good.
She's a Belmont gal.
I'm a Belmont. Well, I live right there.
Okay.
And then I would say Cafe Frank.
Okay.
I'd never really had French
Wilson
food
Ritchie.
before.
Yeah.
And I love Wilson Ritchie. Huge fan.
Okay.
Whiskey Jar because I love the music. That's like the ultimate for the vibes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's 4, right?
I can't see you as like a fiddle-loving bluegrass gal. Is that wrong? That's wrong?
It used to be correct.
Okay.
And then I moved here.
Wow.
And then I fell in love with it.
So the DC gal is getting a little bit of the
in the bluegrass.
The Blue Ridge Mountains over here. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I love. There's an accordion player, Matthew, on Thursday nights.
Oh yeah.
We always go to see him because he's amazing. He'll play like part of that world from The Little Mermaid, but on the accordion, which is amazing. And I'm trying to think of a 5th restaurant if I had to. I would say Tillman's. Because I love sandwiches. And I love like the artisan sandwiches that they do. It's just it's a really nice place to go for like a quick bite to eat, I would say.
I love it. Sarah Robinson shining such a positive spotlight here on Charlottesville and on Central Virginia. How about wineries or breweries or weekend activity?
Oh, so I'm going to go with King because of
King
the
family?
polo.
Okay.
Yes. Polo. I've never seen polo before.
Look at you.
I know. I'm getting all of these new experiences.
I love it.
I went to my first polo match on my birthday in September last year, and it was really fun. And the view there is incredible.
So would you say, with everything you've experienced here in Charlottesville and Central Virginia, that you could ever see this as home? And I ask many of our guests that are in the news business this question, because the unfortunate nature, and I've covered this on the show before, is this is a market where you go to gain experience.
Right.
And someone that is as uber talented as Sarah, where like the world is legitimately her oyster, can have like very realistic aspirations of working for network news.
Thank you.
And that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Ultimately.
Do you ever, so like I was in that position at once where I was like, do I leave Charlottesville or do I take this job in news in Richmond? And Richmond was a bigger market. How often do you think about that? And I ultimately said I'm staying in Charlottesville and opening a company. So that's what ended up happening.
I mean, I think about it in terms of like my contract is up soon in November. So
Dang, girl, so we're going to lose you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because CBS 19 starts to feel like family to me. I mean, really, truly, it's a great place to work.
And you're an icon locally.
I don't know about
I'm going to say it. I'm going to go ahead and say it, Sarah.
Don't flatter me like
I'm
that.
going to say it.
But I mean, it really does. The people there, they start to feel like family. I mean, they took me. I did not have journalism experience.
It was your first job, right?
It was my first job, but I was a theater major.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So they really took me under their wing and knew that I loved politics and really they gave me so many opportunities. I mean, I got to interview Governor Ralph Northam before he left. I covered the gubernatorial race. I got to appear on CBSN. I interviewed former VP Mike Pence when he came to UVA. I mean, they have just helped me so much, and they really do feel like family. They're a really amazing team to work for. And I really love that they constantly promote people within the company. I mean, I was a multimedia journalist, and then I moved to Nightside, and now I'm a weekend anchor. So I love that they do that. And I don't know. I feel like if I could just like move the city of Charlottesville and my team to like network,
you would do it.
I would do it.
Yeah.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
Do you think that this path that you've pursued is something that you would reflect with the next generation and say, look, here are these pearls of wisdom that I've learned? Like, what would be the advice that you would give to 5-year-old Sarah Robinson right now?
Oh, 5-year-old me.
Princess.
Yeah. Princess Sarah. I would tell her that confidence is a journey, because I think, and you know, growing up, everyone goes through that awkward phase in middle school and high school, and I think somewhere around like age 12, I started losing so much confidence in myself. And I think what kind of brought me back into it was competing again in the Miss America organization and being guided by mentors and people who saw the good in me and who could see the potential that I had and tap into that and make me see it. And so I would say that confidence is a journey. It's never ending. It's kind of going to ebb and flow. But I'm in a much better place now than I was a year ago and the year before that. And so I would just say, like, keep holding on and root for yourself. Going back to that, I think it's so important to know that you can cheer for yourself, and that's okay. And
phenomenal answer.
Yeah, you can believe in yourself.
Oh, yeah. I love this interview. It's been so good. All right, let's close her down. How do we want to follow you?
Okay.
We want to track your progress.
Sure.
We want to support and cheer for you. How do we do it?
So I got to plug the platform again, the social impact. I have a website called The Good News VA, so www.thegoodnewsva. You can see all of the stories that I've done highlighting people right here in our community making it a better place. All of those features and the school tour visits that I've done. So definitely check out the website. You can submit your own feel-good piece if you want. Social media, Sarah Ashley Robinson is the place for my Instagram and TikTok, and then my Twitter is Sarah Robinson TV.
Okay.
And then you should all come to Miss Virginia because it's going to be amazing.
June
25th is 25th. The finale.
Okay.
Yes.
With live streaming, Sarah
With
Robinson.
live streaming.
You are amazing. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I would love to do, your schedule permitting, a follow-up interview.
Yeah.
This summer after the 25th.
Okay.
And keep crushing it.
Thank you.
Keep crushing it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you to Sarah Robinson, guys, for joining us today on the program. We wish her the best of luck with her pursuit of Miss Virginia. A couple of other items I want to get out of the notebook. As you get a 2-shot ready, Judah, we can go back to the 1-shot on me. Friday's show tomorrow is going to be a big one. Thank you. On Friday's show at 10:15 a.m. with Real Talk with Keith Smith, we're going to have Neil Williamson and Sean Tubbs. So the president of the Free Enterprise Forum, 10:15 a.m. on Friday, along with Sean Tubbs of Town Crier Productions, and Quentin Beckham will fill in for Keith Smith, the former president of the Charlottesville-Albemarle Association of Realtors. So that's 10:15 a.m. on Friday. A few other items I want to get out before we wrap up today's show. We'll have a few business listings come on the market potentially next week that we will discuss here on the I Love CVille Network. We're super stoked about that. We will also highlight the Virginia basketball team's returning roster. I put a little bit of tease on this on our Instagram yesterday. Percentage of returning minutes next season among major conferences, Virginia has the most returning minutes on the roster. 87.8% of minutes played last year for the Virginia men's basketball team, Tony Bennett's team, returns next year. 87.8%. So that's a substantial amount of returning minutes for Virginia. A lot of other things I want to cover on today's program. I want to highlight with you, Judah Wickower, the success of the interview we just did right there. I mean, she was absolutely dynamite. She was fantastic. I think the future is super bright with Sarah Robinson and her path of Miss Virginia. And I really like the energy and the nature of this interview, where we highlighted something positive. It was a humanized and localized success story right there. We'll follow her closely as she makes a push for Miss Virginia, Sarah Robinson of CBS 19. If you go to the 2 before we go, because I want to get you in here, I want to say, A, job well done, Judah, and B, did you enjoy that interview as much as I did?
Yeah, I mean, she's clearly learned a lot as in her time in the reporter seat, and it definitely shows in her interview here.
Such an easy interview.
Yeah, I mean, you know, rarely do we get people that are so well spoken in front of.
I would say rarely.
Well, in front of a camera, like first time on the show.
Well, we're fortunate to have a lot of great guests today. She's certainly one of them,
Definitely.
or on this show in general. So Neil Williamson and Sean Tubbs tomorrow, 10:15 a.m. Real Talk. Quentin Beckham. QB's going to be there. We're going to spoil him for his birthday, and then the I Love CVille Show, guys, at 12:30. My name is Jerry Miller. We hope you enjoyed the interview as much as we did. It's the I Love CVille Show, powered by Tink Fiber Internet and presented today by Scuba Boutique Dispensary. We'll see you tomorrow at 10:15, guys. Take care.